All right. Hey, Evan, how you doing this week?
I'm good.
Okay. We talked last week, or a few weeks ago. I haven't actually seen you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
About possibly going out to the food court
hmm
for maybe a half hour. And have you been able to do that at all yet?
Yeah, I was there. I went to the food court about. I think it might have been like a couple days after we had our last session,
Okay.
and that was over at the Salisbury Mall.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there. I got some Chick-fil-A there. Always very delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually there kind of people watching for a little while. There's some strange people that go there, but
Yeah.
it entertained me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. What did you think as you watched these people? What was going through your head? I mean, because you said strange people.
It's kind of hard to explain. Like I saw one guy that like had painted fingernails and like just some few wacky looking characters.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't talk to anybody.
Sure.
I probably people watched for maybe about a half hour.
Okay.
I enjoyed my Chick-fil-A. My order took a little long, but they were really busy. That's
Sure.
the most popular restaurant in that court. And I mean their food's always good. Their shakes are the best. And I actually applied to work at that Subway at that food court.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was just sitting there thinking, and I was like, well, I want to start somewhere, and with me having the experience of being a Subway employee,
Mm-hmm.
I figured, well, I'm already here. I don't really feel like talking to anybody, but I know that Subway is generally not that busy.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on me being in Salisbury my whole life, and I just never see that one packed. Just because the Chick-fil-A just takes everybody else, so I just figured, well, I can go there and not have to be that busy. I already have the experience of being an employee, and I filled out the application there, and I turned it back in like immediately, and they're supposed to. Actually, no, I think they're going to give me a call. I think it was like within a week after Thanksgiving, because they're just trying to make it through, and then the holidays are coming in, and I just said just take your time. That's a very busy time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then after all that, I went to go see. I actually went by myself, but I went to go see the new Thor movie.
Oh,
and that was very enjoyable.
So you did quite a bit.
Yeah, well, you said go to the mall and people watch, and I was kind of hesitant at first. I'm like, I don't really know if that makes any sense, but I'm just going to go along with it.
Uh-huh.
And when I got there, I just was kind of looking around. I was like, well, I can get food while I'm there, and then I can go apply at Subway, and then I can go see the Thor movie that I wanted to go see, even though I went by myself.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't very crowded, but I enjoyed the movie, so it really gave me a lot to do that day, and I just got to thank you for that.
Well, sure, and sure. I'm curious to know because you did quite a bit.
Yeah.
For someone who tends to stay by themselves, even though you didn't do it with someone, you were out.
Yeah.
And you, all I had really suggested was, the food court for half hour, and you actually applied.
Yeah.
And you went to a movie. What were some of the feelings that were going through you before you applied, but while you were just sitting there watching people? Well, okay, let me stop you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
What were some of the feelings you were thinking, or what was the feeling you had when your order took longer than normal? I mean, were you anxious? Or?
I mean, yeah, I was getting a little annoyed because I was starving, and
Okay.
when I'm hungry, I kind of turn to a bit of a jerk because I'm like, man, I want my damn food already,
Mm-hmm.
and But at the same time, I did see a bunch of people up there. I think there was four. Wait, yeah, there was four people before me. One of them was like a mom and like a little kid. They took a little bit of the time, and they were just really busy. And I, once I sat down, I was like, all right, I'll look around for a bit and just kind of see how people interacted. I saw various groups of people, so I was like, wow, like it just seems like you could just see anybody there at the mall. And then once I saw that the Subway was in, because I'm sitting here, the Chick-fil-A's over this way, the Subway's over there, how it's all like lined up, because I went in through those double doors.
Sure.
And I was just like, oh, wow, I see Subway right there. And I was like, you know what? Like, I need a job, and I haven't had one in God knows how long. And I just figured, well, my Subway experience, I was there. I think I worked at Subway for, like 2 years or 3 years before that went to crap. I didn't get fired. I left. It was just the staff just wasn't very good. It was the Subway, the one that I worked at. It was the one on that plaza where Chipotle's there, Little Caesars is there, and then Subway. That Subway is god awful. The staff has just always been bad. I just got so fed up with them. They didn't know what they were doing, so I left. But and I just saw there was one in front of me. I'm like, well, even though I didn't have a good experience, I think it was just because of the staff that wasn't very good. And I just saw that one that was right in front of me. And I'm like, well, since I'm right here, I may as well just apply to that one. And hoping to hear back from them after Thanksgiving.
Sure.
And hopefully the staff isn't as bad as that one that I had to deal with.
Well, you may be finding out. So
I'm hoping so.
So you stated that you were annoyed because you were hungry, and you said you turned into a bit of a jerk.
Yeah,
and then you said you sat down.
I feel like I do.
So when you sat down, did you sit down to wait for your food, or did you already have your food?
Oh, well, I sat down to wait for my food.
Okay.
Because I sat down on one of those tables.
Sure.
Because I was also thinking too. Like,
and you didn't have your food right now.
No. But I was thinking, well, I can start people watching while I'm waiting for my food.
Okay.
Because I wanted to, go by your instruction for that.
Okay. And Evan, don't think of it as instruction. This is for you. I mean.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant. Like.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would say that. It was pretty. It was very proactive, for lack of a better way to put it, to say, okay, there's a mother up in the line with kids waiting for her food.
Yeah,
I'm kind of annoyed, waiting, but I'm just gonna be cool and sit down and watch. And so good for you. And so when you saw the Subway, even with the experience you had. With all those people around who you said can kind of annoy you at times,
right?
And as you word you used earlier, I think wacky,
and just wacky looking.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, people are different. So.
Sure. No. That's not. But did what? Okay, so you finished your food.
Yeah, after I finished, that's when I
went to the Subway.
Well, actually, after I finished, I still was looking around, watching people, just seeing whatever popped up on the TV here and there.
Sure.
And then that's when I just randomly got the idea where I'm like, well, that Subway is literally right in front of me. I may as well go apply. Because working there at the old one that I worked at, like the place itself wasn't bad, and
it's the staff.
The staff was bad, but I liked getting subs half off.
Okay,
so
that's a benefit.
And I think also I was, with me being there, I think I was there for 2 years. I'll have to go back and look, something like that. I was just kind of sticking it out because I was miserable going there for a little while because I just couldn't stand my staff. Because they just didn't know what the hell they were doing. But I was also thinking too, like, what other job can I get? I don't really have much going on. Mm-hmm. So I just sucked it up for a while. And then one day, I just got so fed up because they just kept messing up. It was a little bit of a busy day because it's near the college.
Right.
So we would get some college kids in there, and most of the time they were okay. Mm-hmm. But there was just one particular day where I was just so fed up. I don't even think I gave them 2 weeks notice. I was just like, screw it, I'm out of here. After I'd get off of my shift, I had I think it was a 2 to 9 shift, 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. And it was like, I want to say it was around dinner time. And this lady that I was working with, she just messed up this kid's order. And she messed it up like 2 or 3 times. Mm-hmm. I think he asked for. Oh, you know what? She charged him like way too much for bacon or something like that. Like she just kept messing up with the cash register, and that was a bunch of complications. And then she made the sub itself just so poorly. It was just like real soggy and like just falling off and everything. I just got so pissed off. I was like, how the hell do you mess up a sub so bad? Because I thought I was actually good at my job, and I was just like, I just yelled at her. I was like, look, you're weighing me down. Like, this staff sucks. I'm quitting after 9 o'clock. I'm not even going to give you all 2 weeks notice. And I mean, you know, I actually wrote him down as a reference, so I'm hoping they're not like, yeah, that guy was a jerk. But I explained on there why I left, and okay. Well, actually, one of my supervisors I don't think had a problem with me. She understood that I was, you know, a hard worker there and wanted to be a perfectionist. Because when you're handing, when you go out to get a sub, you don't want it to fall off and crumble down and everything. You just want those easy bites, and then.
Let me ask you a question then. Okay, so with staff, there was it sounds like there was some legitimate issues with the people you were working with. You get the new job.
I'm hoping so.
And you run into the same problem. How do you handle that?
I didn't even think about that. Well, actually, I did think about that.
Do you react? I mean, let me ask you this: if looking back, would you have handled that any differently? The first experience.
Well, after that whole debacle, my dad gave me some crap for it, and he kind of yelled at me, and me and him got into a shouting match. I didn't even speak to him for a week after that, because I was just like pissed off. I was like, how can you not understand where I'm coming from? Mm-hmm. But I think about that every now and then, because he was saying to me, like, look, son, like, you're frustrated, like, you were just kind of standing up for the people that wanted their sub, and he was like, but you can't yell at the people that you work with, and he was just saying, and also, if you feel like quitting, you got to give them 2 weeks. It's just not professional to just quit on the spot and not give them a 2 weeks notice. And then I got mad. I was like, hey, I gave him a 2 or 3 hours notice. Okay. So I gave him a little bit of notice.
Do you agree with Dad now, in hindsight, or do you think he was trying to help?
I think he was trying to help.
Okay.
I think maybe I just got a little too hasty with him because of our relationship not being the best.
Do you think? Let me ask you something, Evan. Do you think? So you'd been there for a while. You said 2 years.
Yeah, I was there for 2 years. Okay. I left there abruptly. I think I left Subway about 3 years ago, something like that.
Had your mom already passed when you got the job?
I'm trying to remember. I think she was around.
Because you said you were there 2 years. It's about 3 years since you left. She passed 5 years ago. So it would have been. It sounds like you would have been getting the job just around the time either she was imminently passing or had passed?
I think I got it. Right after, like about a few months after she passed.
Okay.
And my dad pushed me to go get it because he knew somebody that was one of the managers there,
okay.
And he was just saying you can't just lay in bed all the time depressed, and I just kind of did it just to shut him up. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll go get the job, whatever.
Okay. You were lying in bed because your mom had passed.
Yeah, I was in bed. I think I slept like, I don't think I slept. I think I slept like a bear.
Okay.
I was just hibernating in my room. I just kind of, I just fell off the grid for a little while, and I just laid in bed every day for, had it been at least a month.
So, you were grieving.
And
there was obviously some depression, and there was spots where some anger came out. So, which is part of, kind of a natural part of grieving.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think, and I think I've touched on this in a past session, do you think you've been able to grieve your mom's passing fully? Now, you'll never get through it fully.
Yeah,
have you reached
hard.
Yeah, have you reached a point where you're like, okay, I can move on with my life?
Yeah, I would.
Because at some point,
I think I'm starting to take a step in the right direction,
okay.
And I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm really hoping I get this job just to get something, and I haven't. And I've been calling Warwick a couple times about the GED thing, and they just don't know how to answer a damn phone. And I'm like, I really don't feel like going over there because it's like way on the other side of town, and I'm just being lazy. And then I'm just like, all right, well, maybe I could email somebody or actually physically go over there for once and kind of suck it up.
Sure. Sometime after the holiday.
Yeah. I'm gonna take care of that. Well, I want to get back with this. I want to get back with the Subway thing first. Wait for them.
Okay.
Because they're supposed to call a couple days after Thanksgiving, and then
okay.
Once I hear from them, I mean, I wasn't guaranteed an interview or anything. They just said, "We'll look at your application, call you back after the break," and then I'll look into the GED stuff, and I'm hoping that won't be too strenuous. And
well, I'm thinking with Christmas coming up, we're getting through Thanksgiving. A lot of places ramp up staff.
Yeah.
So it's quite conceivable that you will get a call from them and at least get an interview. And then if they say, look, it looks like you've left on bad terms, you could at least you'll have a way to face explain.
Yeah, I wrote it down too.
Okay.
I just said,
so you're not avoiding it.
No. I specifically wrote because it'll say on the application, how long did you work here for? Mm-hmm. Your supervisor, the year and date, and then it'll say at the bottom of that little section, reasons for leaving. I wrote down the staff was just, I didn't write down like anything profane. I just said the staff wasn't very good.
Right. Well, I'm glad they were,
and I just said they were holding me back from, or I just said like the staff was so bad, I felt overwhelmed that I had to do everything for them. I just didn't think that was very fair.
Okay.
And I even, they were bad. One of them got fired after being there for like maybe not even a month. He just didn't seem to care.
Question. So what was the feeling walking up to in the middle of the food court? Not in the middle, but in the food court.
Yeah.
And putting an application in. Did you feel okay doing that? Or?
I felt content. Okay. I was just eyeing that Subway for a brief moment, and then I was just thinking like, they're never really that busy because you got the Chick-fil-A there that's going to take up everything. You got that, what's that place? Oh, over here from my angle,
mm-hmm.
That's the what's it called? The pretzel. Aunt Annie's or Aunt Annie's or however way you pronounce it, and then they have, a lot of people go there. So I noticed that those two are taking up most of the customers. And I was eyeing the Subway for a little bit. I'm like, they hardly get anybody because is that
important to you?
Yeah, that way I can deal with a lot less people.
You're still going to deal with people.
Unfortunately, I am, but not as many.
Okay.
So I was just
I
was just thinking of a good scheme. And
so is this maybe a way of getting yourself back into, well, honestly, Evan, just everything you've told me, you've never really interacted on a large scale with people. So this is maybe a kind of a new beginning. Maybe.
Yeah, and the guy
and this may be the place to start.
Yeah, and the and one of the employees that I ran into, he had me go into the back office to talk to the manager there, and the manager seemed like a very nice guy, and he just said, "Hey, apply. We're looking, and we'll, and I was just explaining to him like, yeah, I worked at one before and blah blah blah, and he said, oh, that's excellent. So it seems like you know what you're doing,
right? And
I was like, yeah,
well, that's good.
Not too hard to make a sub.
Well, you say that, but I'm not sure I could do it. I mean, so
it's simple. I mean, once you get the initial training, it probably takes you like.
You have to make a sub. You have to do it quickly. You have to do it accurately. You have to go on to the next person. So there's. Walking in a park is easier, but trust me, it isn't hard at all. Okay, I remember last time I saw you, we were going to go over, and I made you some copies.
All right, awesome.
And I'm just going to I'm going to talk a little bit. I just want to kind of go over some of this with you. I made a copy of this page, which is Cognitions and Create Feelings, and we're just going to touch on a little bit of this.
Okay.
The thought that something bad might happen, anxiety.
Oh, okay.
They did a bad thing, and they shouldn't be able to get away with it. Anger. Okay, well, you just express that a little bit with work. Okay. Yeah. I did a bad thing, and I deserve to be punished. Guilt. Things are going really well for me. Contentment. And so as you can go down the list, things are not going the way they should. They should.
Right.
Okay.
Should.
Frustration. Okay, now you've got something good is going to happen or potentially happen. Excitement.
All right.
Okay. So let's see. What else have we got here? The next page that you have will be, do we have this? Common and rational beliefs. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Some common and rational beliefs. And I want you to keep this because I'd like you to kind of look at this over the next...
I'll look into it for sure.
I must be loved and approved by everyone. I'm not sure you believe that, but if you don't get that, it will possibly cause some anxiety, unassertive behavior, depression, poor self-esteem. Let's see, which one might work with you here? The world should be a fair place and I should always be treated fairly. If that doesn't happen, or if you don't perceive it to happen, anger, resentment, frustration, depression. When I do something badly, I am a bad person, a failure, an idiot. Because you actually at one point told me you felt like a loser. Poor self-esteem, frustration, depression. I think that was during your first session. It is awful when things don't go the way that I would like. Frustration, anger, depression. Do you see? I mean, you see a pattern here with anxiety, depression, anger, low self-esteem, because you have. Sometimes we have this idea of how life is supposed to be, and how people are supposed to act.
Right.
People are people.
Yeah.
And to use your example, moving from one subway to the next, you're going to have one bad staff. Go to the next one, and it's a great staff. So how's that going to affect your mood and your outlook?
Well, I think that would make me happy because I think that when you are working for a company, I think each person should hold their own end of the table. I would understand that the higher up positions might have to do more work, but I just think that making a sub just doesn't require a whole lot of skill.
Okay.
So I'm just hoping that people can do those things and just get through the day and everything. So
what I'm hearing you say is people should be competent at what they do.
Well, in terms of something that's very easy, something I would understand that it would be
what about something that's not easy?
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. Okay. I was going to say that to me, the easiest jobs would be to make a sub and or like working at McDonald's or something like that. That shouldn't be that hard. But I would understand people having a hard time being like a dentist or a surgeon, where that requires lots and lots of school. And with surgeons, you can't mess up at all, basically, and you have to know every part of the body. So I understand that.
Sure, a lot of education.
I understand that's very, very hard, and I can never ever do that.
But why?
I'm not planning on doing that.
Why would you think that? As I said earlier, working in fast food is got to be stressful.
It can be. I wasn't saying that it wasn't, but I'm just saying in terms of the work itself. Like to me, it's just like you slap the sub there, you throw whatever they want you to throw on there, and then you make it, and then boom, like that's their sub. Like they'll enjoy it.
Okay, so again, what I'm hearing you say is that people should have a certain standard.
Yeah.
And they're not. You saw them as not fulfilling it.
Oh, not at all.
When you saw that, it made you angry.
Yeah, and there would be times too where people would be flaky about going into work.
Sure.
Because to me, it's like you sign up for the job, you're getting paid. It's not hard to go to these hours.
Okay. Let's go to the next page.
Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling.
No. You're not rambling at all. Not at all. I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from. So let's go flip to the next page.
Okay.
And this is called the tyranny of shoulds. There's a couple left up here. I should always do a perfect job. I should never make a mistake. I should always be productive in the use of my time. My life should be easy and hassle-free. And these are called, up here you'll see, the tyranny of shoulds. And I think it was Albert Ellis, who was a psychologist, said, you're shoulding all over yourself. I should do this, I should do that. People should do this, people should do that. And they're kind of absolutes.
Okay.
And so one thing that, I think we need to maybe approach next time we meet is learning to begin the process of becoming more flexible with first yourself and then others.
Okay.
So that you can, when things do maybe not go the way you feel they are, that you're not going to beat yourself up, feel like a loser, isolate, think people are not worth the time, and start isolating again. And let's see, if you flip to the next page, here,
next page, all right?
Yep, we have, belief, logical statement. I must be loved and approved by everyone. Okay, the logical statement is, I prefer people to like me, but it's unrealistic to expect everyone to like me, okay? Let's see, I must be competent, adequate, and achieving in every respect. I'm competent in some things and not in other things, okay? The world should be a fair place and I should always be treated fairly. The world is full of injustice. Lots of things aren't fair. So this is kind of what I'd like you to take a look at. And then if you flip to the next page, there is a thought monitoring form. So you can put, and I've actually, if you split it in half here, so you have this page and that page. What I've done is I've given you some, some examples.
Printed, yeah.
Yep. So the examples, and it's actually, this is not this page, but it's the page after.
Okay.
So what it does is, what you see here is this. The situation. Reread Dad's last letter to me. Feelings. Cried, felt extremely guilty. What were your thoughts about that? Your beliefs about that. Your thinking errors. And these are all on here. Thinking errors. You can kind of check them off. Dispute. How do you dispute it? Alternative, more balanced view. What would I tell a friend who is in this situation? So in other words, of course that's pretty self-explanatory. If a friend of yours just walked out of Subway because staff was bad, would you agree with them, or would you say, well, maybe you should have handled it a little differently?
Okay.
So and then positive actions. So, just over the next week, if you feel like you'd like to go out again to the food court again, and sometimes, if they said they were going to call you back, maybe you don't want to go and push it. But sometimes it's always good to make FaceTime again. Say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm still interested in the job. And, I know you said you'd call after Thanksgiving, but I am still interested. That way, they're like, oh, he stopped by twice now.
Wow. Okay, cool. Thank you.
And if another if another movie is being shown.
Yeah.
And, Evan, it might be even worthwhile just walking down the mall a little bit and just seeing what's there. Now, of course, at this time of year, it's going to be getting crowded.
Yeah,
so if people create anxiety for you, keep that in mind. You may not want to go too far.
Okay.
Or if you like to have an escape plan, as long as you don't stroll too far from the food court, you'll be okay.
Okay.
So, again, this is for your benefit. If you think it's going to help you, give it a shot. But I think it would be a good idea for you to look this over. And if you find a situation where it's creating some kind of negative emotion, use that form to kind of walk through it and see if you can take a different approach. All right, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you next week. Is that good?
Perfect. Thank you.
I'll go up with you and we'll schedule an appointment.
All right. Thank you.